Paper 1 exam tips. Paper 1 of your GCSE is worth 45% of your final marks and is a 2-hour long exam paper. The obvious but most important thing to do is to do what the question tells you to do. That means a couple of things very, very simply. It means you need a correct and accurate answer that has been explained. So, when it comes to source questions, you know from your paper 2 work that sources need to be answered with the first sentence actually answering the question. We then have 2 pieces of source detail to support the answers from the source, and we then have 2 pieces of own knowledge to help explain the answer to the question. Now in paper 1, it's really, really important that you use the context to explain your answer of the source questions. So that means 2 things. It means giving a general explanation of the situation at the time, and it means giving some precise, specific examples of information that you know to help answer the question. And it's the combination of those 3 things which will allow you to answer the 4 source questions really, really well. If it's a cartoon, what is the cartoonist trying to say? What point is he making? If it's a why was it published or produced question, it's the purpose. Why has that thing been published, been produced? It's going to be to do something, to persuade people to do something, to encourage people to do something, to make something happen. Not just to show something or to inform, but to make something happen. That's really important. Also really important is to look at the dates of sources and who has produced them. That will help us to understand why it's been produced and for what purpose. If the question's about does it prove or is it useful, then the answer is going to be kind of a 2-sided answer. Yes, it is useful, and yes, it does prove things, but only to a certain extent. If it tells you stuff that's accurate and you know is true, then it has to be useful. If it doesn't tell you everything about something, then it's going to lack some usefulness. The sources you need to look at very, very carefully and make sure you fully understand before you start to write your answers. You then have to do a couple of 4, 6 and 10 mark questions. Look at the questions that are worth 6 and 10 marks because you get a choice. You get a choice between a 4, 6 and 10 on the Cold War and a 4, 6 and 10 on Germany. It's important you get the most marks for the 10 mark question. So make sure you can do the 10 mark and the 6 mark before you consider about the 4 mark question. For 4 marks, we are giving 4 basic points. 4 separate points or 2 points that have been explained and supported. For 6 marks, it's an explain question. Explain why something happened. We're looking for 2 or 3 P paragraphs. Give your point. One reason this happened was because. Then explain it and say why that thing you said helped explain the answer. Why did it lead to something? Why did it cause something? Why did somebody do something? So the points and the explanations. Words like because, therefore, consequently, as a result of this, all help to explain our answers. But it's 2 or 3 P paragraphs. In your 10 mark questions, it's similar. For 10 mark questions, we're still looking for P paragraphs for our point, our evidence and our explanation, but it depends what the question asks you to do. It might say is one thing more important than another, but you have to explain why both are important, then make a judgment. You can't just do one thing and not the other. If it says to what extent is something true, or is it accurate, then you say yes, because, and then on the other hand, no, because. It's that balanced answer. It's not going to be, whatever the question is for 10 marks, a one-sided answer. You have to explain both sides and then explain your judgment overall. It's about explaining things thoroughly for both 6 and for 10-mark questions. In the exam paper, it will tell you roughly how long to spend on each section. Use this as a guide. You've got 2 hours to answer the questions they've told you to answer. Use the time limits they give you as a guide. If you're 5 minutes quicker or slower, doesn't matter very much, but make sure you're using them as a way of helping you keep track of time and work out how far you're going and how quickly you're going. If you're running out of time, leave a space at the end of an answer and move on. But make sure, please, that you are answering each question as fully and as clearly as you can, with the best explanation you can give for why that is the answer.